Don't expect everyone to understand your journey, especially if they've never had to walk your path. Healthyplace.com. Imagine being told your entire life that you're just lazy, or to stop being weird, or to calm down because you're overreacting, or simply that you are lying. You're forced to hide how you feel because nobody believes you. You lead yourself to believe that maybe there is nothing off about this. You are just overreacting or being weird. It drives you half insane, makes you fall into a deep hole of struggles. You feel like a burden. You feel like you're alone in this. That is exactly how it feels to have an undiagnosed disorder. The stereotypes and stigma behind mental disorders lead to many people not getting diagnosed, though it goes deeper than that. According to PubMed, it can cause social isolation, delayed treatment-seeking behavior, misconceptions, and more. When you think of ADHD, what do you think? Unless you've had your own experience with it, it's probably someone super hyperactive and unable to sit still. When you think of schizophrenia, probably someone insane. How about OCD? Someone who washes their hands 3 times just in case and keeps everything neat? How about autism? Someone who's childish and acts weird? All of these are possible, but they're not the limit at all. In fact, they're just stereotypes. In a study done, 25% of adults suspected they had undiagnosed ADHD. Whether it's ADHD, autism, depression, anxiety, OCD, schizophrenia, or any other mental disorder, they all affect your daily life. Sometimes it's vague, sometimes it can feel like an inescapable dread. Many have been there. In fact, ADHD and ASD, autism, have more prevalence of depression. According to Attitude, up to 30% of people with ADHD have depression, and based off of PubMed facts again, up to 40% of people with autism have depression, as it seems to be the case with many disorders. Did you know girls are better at masking, therefore it's harder to detect mental disorders in women? Masking is a behavior in neurodivergent people, where they subtly change to better fit in, such as being more social and learning social cues and acting on them even if they don't understand them, etc. According to Very Well Health, autistic women may experience more pressure to mask, which can result in emotional exhaustion and a higher diagnosis. I have this story about a girl I know personally from a young age. This was her in the 3rd grade, where she first started to struggle in school. From a young age, kindergarten even, she had been the top of her class. She read chapter books while the others learned to read, and she could even read them in a day if she wanted to. Adults often told her that she was ahead for her age. As I said, in 3rd grade, I noticed her begin to struggle. But of course, nobody else noticed. She was bright and she used to do all her work weeks before the due date, so why would she struggle now? She was being lazy. Picture this: her brother, who has ADHD, unable to sit still, having excess energy, yelling a lot, and next to him is her. She could sit still, she was more calm, so if you were her mom, would have guessed that she had ADHD too? Probably not. I think I know why that is though. Most of the time, she was fidgeting under her desk or tapping her fingers. Nobody saw. No one noticed. She had trouble paying attention and her head was up in the clouds, and she struggled way more with ADHD paralysis, which means she didn't mean to procrastinate, but she physically and mentally couldn't get up and do what she had to do. She still can't. That was only visible to mostly me, because that was me. Naturally, I got diagnosed when I was 13 years old, because my parents thought I began making up ideas in my head. I was being told almost every day that I'm lazy and that I'm overreacting because I'm in middle school and my life can't be that bad. So I believed it. I made myself believe that I was just lazy. I felt guilty. My therapist told my parents I should get an exam done, and of course, I got diagnosed with ADHD. And while we were at it, I was also told that I struggled a bit with anxiety and depression. In fact, when you get diagnosed for ADHD, there are also many questions relating to depression and anxiety, because they commonly come as a packet. It doesn't even limit to ADHD. These questions can also show up for tests for anxiety, autism, OCD, schizophrenia, and more. That's why having stigma around these disorders are so harmful to the people who actually have the disorders. If it revolves around a specific stereotype, there's a lower chance of them being diagnosed with it because they don't fit that stereotype. ADHD can be someone who's quiet and has good grades, but leaves things to the last minute. OCD can be someone who's overly afraid of hurting others, even though they have no reason not to and they know they won't, and have obsessions with no reasonable explanation. Autism can be someone who acts completely normal and just has a special interest that they love to talk about more than anything. Anxiety can be someone who's more discreetly nervous about things like social interactions. Schizophrenia can be someone paranoid, irritable, and has delusions from time to time. All can be subtle. What I'm trying to say is that if you generalize these disorders and create stereotypes, consciously or subconsciously, it can make the journey to a diagnosis much harder for someone around you.